Right here on a Friday night. Matt, look at us. I got the white on, you got the black on. We look like Kenny and Bryan Danielson.
Yeah.
Woo! Oh, man.
Undertaker and Shawn Michaels. So, I mean, we're
talking
5-star matches. Okay.
Oh, here we go. Hi, everybody. Welcome to a grand slamming, super clicking, and super kicking, I guess, smoking, firing, bloodline bitching episode of the Brothers of Discussion. We're talking AEW in New York. SmackDown layeth things to smacketh down and getting you buckled in for extreme rules. Yeah, it's so extreme, you're gonna love it. That and just like Brian Omega, depending on time, maybe more, maybe less, maybe only 30 minutes, who knows? Matt, it's been well, that's not true. Fall is here. It's been a cool but spicy week of wrestling. How are things over yonder?
Doing good. Had to do first double doctor visit today, and it was an absolute shitstorm. Just two babies crying as I'm trying to calm them down. For Mike, going to the doctor with kids sucks. You know, you get to look at your phone for the 40 minutes. You wait for the doctor to come in, and then the other 40 minutes for the nurse to bring in your paperwork.
Yeah.
You have to do all that while holding two kids and bouncing them and trying to get them to stop crying because they know that shots are coming.
Man, if you thought Jim Ross had a hard time managing wrestlers on the plane ride from hell, listen to Matt. Take two kids to the hospital. Woo! Woo!
We've had a spicy couple of episodes, Mike. We've lost some friends because of the plane ride from hell. We've lost some friends, Mike, because of vaccinations. We'll keep this
even
episode
friends to begin with.
This is only fun. There's no controversies. But let's start with the dark side of the ring, Mike. And last night's, I'm just kidding.
Bring it up one more time, baby. Woo!
Yeah, I'll confess. I just described my insane day today, and I didn't have a chance to watch it. But I guess we're canceling John Cena this week.
Oh, no.
Can't wait to see who we cancel next week. But we're here. If you guys want to join us, we're not going to be live tweeting AEW Rampage because we'll be busy watching it and talking about it as we go. Mike, I hope we're synced up. I'm watching Luchasaurus do a double choke slam. I hope that you didn't watch that 5 minutes ago.
No, I think did he drop Adam Cole onto one of the Bucks?
Yes. Which we've both decided it's an Uso situation. We will never be able to tell them apart. I'm sorry. I know we should, and there's bandanas and stuff to help us tell them apart. But I don't know.
Understood the Benihana Office Christmas special more than right now, because those are forearms I would definitely want to mark with a Sharpie.
Hey, now we get to be canceled. You're not supposed to talk about that episode anymore, Mike. Peacock took it off. You're done. All right. Find us at BOD Podcast though when we aren't live doing a live watch along. And then what else is there, Mike? I guess there's bodpodcast.com, but I don't have time to add to that anymore. It's just got a bunch of links now to tell you where to watch all of our hot new videos that people actually watch. So thank you for everybody who's been tuning in on YouTube. But like I said, I just tweeted out, Mike, come have a drink with us.
YouTube's going to be huge one day, so I'm glad we're a part of there.
Let's go. I've got Redemption Ride to help me get through. This has been an amazing week for AEW. This isn't going to help me get through it. I think I'm just going to be more lubed up to giggle my way through pro wrestling. It's so much more fun now with AEW.
Can we? I'm really loving wrestling right now. I had a couple quick nuggies before we talk Grand Slam. Matt, hot tag.
Yeah. Oh shoot.
Where's that graphic?
Hold that thought, Mike.
Just kidding. Yes, it's back. Matt, fun one. Who's more intimidating, Adam Cole or Marco Stunt? Have we ever seen the two of them in the same room at the same time?
Oh, right now, right? Isn't there's little Marco. He's right there. So now we know.
No, it's Adam Cole. I don't. Why is he teaming with the Bucks? He's turned coat.
Cole turns coat. It's certainly. All right, do it. This is where Matt demonstrates his poor improv skills. Mike, I'd like to think that the Panama Sunrise is something that I would be scared to have happen to me, and somebody that can hide in the wings like Adam Cole just proved that he could. It can happen at any moment. So I'm going to go with Adam Cole for that reason. And look at him. He's taking out Luchasaurus. Oh, until the headbutt from Luchasaurus. So he's not afraid of anybody. So yeah, I'm going to go with Adam Cole. Marco Stunt, though, he's had character traits defined on AEW programming where he is scared. So of certain pro wrestlers. So I would go in, rolling the dice, hoping that he sees me a whole 2 feet above him, and he'd walk away. So I'm going to go with Adam Cole.
I'm going to go with Marco Stunt because I watched.
God, I'm so glad you did.
I watch Adam Cole matches,
hot take
and I watch Adam Cole matches, and I think, hey, maybe I could be a pro wrestler. But when I see Marco Stunt and what he puts himself through, I'm like, I don't ever want to be a pro wrestler. So give me Marco all day. Man, hot tag number 2 here as we dive into the show. Another light one. Has the word shit and the middle finger. Have they jumped the shark?
I think so.
Or I guess maybe the Luchasaurus.
So we were just talking about this. I think, oh man, Luchasaurus just did the Undertaker shooting up from laying straight down. And he wasn't shooting up. That would be. Do we know if Undertaker had any drug problems?
I thought you were going to say he badmouthed people playing video games, but go ahead.
The boys. All right. Where were we? Yeah. When you have the one word defined that you can say on television, you tend to overuse your one word. And when I say one word, I mean your expletive. So it's clear Turner was okay with it. Advertisers are okay with shit. Just as long as it's in the right context. I'm sure they can't have like a segment end and like Adam Cole is walking off screen. Adam, where are you going? I'm about to go take a big shit. And then they just cut to commercial. So as long as they stay away from that context, they're going to be good. And but point being, you tend to overuse it once that expletive has been given the thumbs up. Mike, we are at the point where they either have to say no shit or all shit is free to go. Because I mean, if they don't start mixing in some, I mean, just bleep it out. You know, like South Park got away with it. They don't start mixing in some fucks. Like it's just gonna not feel real anymore. Now, as we're watching this, Adam Cole is showing off in front of Jungle Boy. That felt weird, didn't it? I know I don't have the commentary on right now, so maybe they're helping tell the story. I wouldn't mind. Like, I know I don't want it to be the NWO. I wouldn't mind the Elite or the Super Click to start grabbing up some kids. You know, like there's some space for it, and I think there's.
You need more members?
Yeah, that's what I said. I said I don't want them to be NWO, but I think there's a select couple of guys that could be added to this team. And how about this, Mike?
That's tough, man. I gotta say, you're like, I don't want to make a Big Mac, but what if we put Thousand Island on American cheese and beef?
Pickles, onions. You need a bun in the middle.
Let's rehydrate some dehydrated onions and see if we can't get 15, 20 more guys in the clique. Who's with me?
No, look, a couple of guys I think would do great. Like you can't just have Jurassic Express be a thing for the entire time that AEW exists. Like some of these tag teams, eventually some of these factions are going to have to break up. And I do think that, I still hope that Adam Cole is one day going to help break up the Elite because I think he does have the star power. But before any of that happens, I think there's room for a guy like Jungle Boy to kind of get that shot, and he's going to leave Luchasaurus and Marco Stunt hanging. I think there's that potential for a good story of them trying to make things work with just Marco and Luchasaurus, and it's just it's not working the way they want, but Jungle Boy's thriving with the Elite. But then in the back of his mind, he sees his two buddies struggling, and eventually we'll have that. I'm already booking them getting back together. But yeah, that's a good story, I think. And I think Jungle Boy would be one of those guys that would really take off with the Elite. And of course, he's the same size of all those guys, so it would really work out. That's who let me put it that way.
Sounds like somebody was watching a little teaser for the WWE draft and wants to start redrafting that whole AEW roster, huh?
No, let's just think about it. Who would you put on the Elite while we're watching some commercials here? Is there anybody you're thinking? Because you would have to also consider, Mike. There's that potential for one day the Elite is going to have to fight somebody, like the Avenger of the entire group, which
Sting.
could possibly be Sting and Darby Allin, and have a real shit show 97 Starrcade title match where Sting, forces the win. He talks to Tony Khan. I'm out of here unless I get the win. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Answer my question.
I want less members tonight.
Okay.
I'm ready for the Good Brothers to go back home, and I don't think I'm gonna get that. But
they could be sent home, and someone else could take their spot. And I think there's room for someone to be added to the Elite.
Ben,
we're watching it right now too. We thought this would be fun to kind of give some live reaction finally to some of these shows. Plus, we want to go to bed on time. So since this is going 2 hours.
But let's do this. I'm gonna say I just want fewer members. I'm gonna swerve on you, Matt.
Thanks.
Can I? So we're trying to cancel.
Give you time to think about it because we're gonna be watching this for another hour and 13 minutes. If you want to tell me you want to come back to it,
if you really want to come back to that segment, Matt, we'll do it just for you. It's almost your birthday month, so maybe we'll do that for you. Matt. Speaking of Cena getting canceled. I just wanted to bring up we got to start getting into Grand Slam, and I think I saw some people that were I think kind of having a misfire here because they didn't realize that I think Cody knows what he's doing when he comes out looking exactly like Homelander from The Boys. He's not coming out there as Steve Rogers. He is Homelander, and I think he realizes that this is a perfect time for him to be a heel, and this is definitely to the benefit of Malakai Black's AEW career because he got a hell of a reaction on Wednesday, and it feels like that's going to be a positive reaction for him going forward. It's almost like they're going to completely rebook him as he was kind of a grayish heel now that he's up against evil Homelander. Maybe evil. How about the insidious Homelander? Where you don't actually, it's not quite as, in your face how evil he is. It's just kind of right below the surface, but we all kind of get it. And this feels super deliberate, and I feel really proud of Cody, a guy who, he put together Dashing Rhodes with that ridiculous mustache. Stardust came out of his brain, and now he found a way to make Homelander a wrestling character. I just want to give him kind of a tip of the cap because this seems like a super effective way to get Black over.
I think a lot of people are kidding themselves when they're pointing out that he looks like Homelander and Cody doesn't absolutely, like, he's not 1,000% doing that on purpose. Like they're like, oh, Cody doesn't realize he looks like an asshole. But no, I mean, kayfabe's alive some places. I think it's brilliant. I'm so glad that Malakai went over. It's one of those things where I remember this is where my confidence in AEW and this whole thing just really just about ready to destroy whatever's going on in the WWE. And don't let me forget, I have a comment I wanted to bring up about the WWE. One of the pro wrestlers made a comment, and I thought it really made sense. But it also means the show might not be for us. But for Malakai, I mean, we were wrongfully, maybe wrongfully. Is that even a word?
Yeah, officially.
Okay. Yeah, wrongfully.
Like, Webster and Merriam agree.
Accusing AEW of kind of fucking up for not having Malakai at All Out. And they're still doing a banger of a job of... I know you shrugged, but I think they're still doing a good job of building that character. Certainly there was space to put Malakai in that show because you could fit, as many matches as you want. It's a pay-per-view. But... Yeah. I thought that, and I was like, well, shit, if he loses a match here, we're going to lose all that momentum. And they kept doing a good job, and they're making the right decisions. And Cody's going to put himself in a spot I think he should absolutely be in. Be this, on character, on TV, the character is, I'm oblivious to how evil I am, how destructive I am to the company if he continued to win. And he's just going to go out there, keep selling himself as the face, and he'll just keep looking worse and worse. And I think it'll be great. The one thing is, though, Mike, he is going to have to start winning some matches for this character to actually make sense. Like we want to boo him like we booed John Cena back in the day. So he's going to have to bury some guys, and we're going to have to be mad about it.
Yeah, I mean, he's just going to have to start showing us on TV that, he's going to start abusing his power. So that's what I'm kind of excited to see. But we're still in the early stages of this, and I think they're realizing I'm getting a lot of go away heat, and this is really to the benefit of whoever I go against. I could really help get them over. And watching Cody evolve, when AEW was first starting out, and Cody was one of the few names we recognized, it made sense for him to be one of the faces of the company, and for now for him to be one of the heels of the company, it's just smart booking again. So, we don't get paid by AEW, but sometimes the way I talk about their booking, it feels like I do get a little money from them. The only other nugget I had for you, Matt, before we get more into Grand Slam was just, I made some more time for SmackDown tonight. Well, God bless the producers of that show, because Montez Ford of Street Profits got a one-on-one with Roman Reigns, and I don't think it was the greatest showcase of Montez ever, if only because he had to not just lose to Roman, but Roman physically dominated him most of that match. It wasn't quite Brock versus Cena, but it was pretty close, and Montez did get a little bit of offense in, but it's nice that we get a little just that faint aroma, when you swirl the wine glass around, that it's not just us who realize that Montez is a fantastic talent. They actually do realize that they have something in Montez. It's just that they're putting it on the shelf. It's not something they're going to, pop out immediately, but they are just going to give you that little glimmer of hope for the Ford fans out there. This guy is eventually going to get a big push. Did you get to see any of it or no?
Just what I saw on Twitter.
Okay.
Tonight's Ted Lasso night, so that got the. That's why I was so happy that Rampage starts at 10 o'clock, because I can actually make that work with my schedule. No, but I saw it online, and I was happy for Montez. I've actually ended up watching SmackDown now the next day, so I'm psyched for that. I know I'm not psyched to see, I don't need to see Demon Bálor do his stuff, because all that tells me is that he's certainly, right? Am I kidding myself if I thought he had a chance to win? But if we're gonna do that, then give us Montez Ford and let us hint that one day the guy that we all the guy that we all think he can be, he will one day be, because he's just that damn good. I remember when we saw, I'll love to Hawkins, but when we went to an NXT show in Detroit and the Street Profits were billed to be there and Montez wasn't there, and it was just Hawkins, I remember we were just like, we looked at each other and we're like, well, fuck, we got the one guy who's going to be left behind after this tag team breaks up.
Oh man, Janetti's out there. Damn it.
Right. And there's a world.
Oh man, Tucky. Well, all right.
There's room to still love those guys, but I mean, Montez he's the star of that tag team. I don't think we're too far off base.
I mean, it's not fair to Hawkins. I mean, Montez is arguably, he could be one of the biggest stars in the whole company. And it's that they just got him kind of cooking on the back burner and they're not, cranking it up yet.
He's got the smoke. I'm happy for Montez. I think the WWE is kind of under this pressure now to maybe all these things they had on the back burner. They were like, one day, Montez, we'll just keep teasing you out for tag team matches. We'll have everybody fall in love. One day you'll get your shot. And now, like I mentioned, I do think, oh God, I know this goes back and forth. I don't think that Big E was used just for that ratings pop. I think Big E would earn a ratings pop. God, I hate having to tiptoe around this idea. I think they did the Money in the Bank earlier than they wanted to, but I mean, Big E deserved to be the champion years ago. So I'm not saying that he only won the title for a ratings pop. He deserves to be the champion. But I think that decision and I think the Montez decision are kind of just like, well, fuck, we have to start putting our best guys out there. We have to say whatever we were doing storyline wise just wasn't enough. And we just have to start putting the good wrestling on TV because, I mean, look at this past week on AEW. That Dynamite episode, while staying true to the name.
That was some of the best free wrestling TV ever.
Yeah, staying true to the name. It was absolute Dynamite. I do think that was probably one of the best weekday wrestling shows, on just cable TV I've ever seen. Start to finish.
I mean, what? That was Mick Foley pinning. What was it? Triple H?
Yeah,
or The Rock. God, I can't remember. Just Stone Cold running out and just wrecking havoc on.
The night that WCW spoiled it, he pinned The Rock because Triple H came out and helped Mick Foley. That was it.
I'm sorry. Yeah,
they were all out there. But Mike, do you remember anything else that happened? Because I'm pretty certain we're gonna remember the first match for a very long time. The first match that happened on Grand Slam, and I couldn't tell you what the first match was on that Monday Night Raw.
No.
If you see what I'm saying, certainly that was a great segment. But I'm saying that episode of AEW Dynamite might have been, and it certainly doesn't hurt to have, an amazing main event with that awesome women's championship match. And there's excitement with Ruby Soho being involved, but that's still taking advantage of the entertainment side of things. You have people that are hot and you put them in a good spot. And certainly we were all excited to see two of the greatest pro wrestlers of the last 15, 20 years, Kenny Omega and there we go. Bryan Danielson getting in the ring together.
It's going to take a while.
That alone,
it's been 8 years.
Right. That alone is exciting, right? That would be enough to say, man, this is one of the best shows I've ever seen. I still love the MJF stuff. And, we already talked about Malakai Black, and I'm just happy that segment ended the way it did. So, I mean, just that whole show is a banger. So, yeah, WWE's got a lot of work to do if they want to put on a show that's good from start to finish for us. But, God, we're doing a live watch along, and we're not even paying attention to Jericho and Hagar.
He just did a lion salt, and I love the dedication he puts just into that move because
it's the scariest goddamn thing every.
He's on a pretty good. He's on a hot streak right now.
He is. You're right. I shouldn't be so hard on him, but
he's got to be doing tons of reps on that, in the gym.
I still wins.
But yeah, for Grand Slam here, while we're kind of watching Jake Jack Hager do his Jake Jack bomb, I don't know what we call it. It's in his repertoire, but I wouldn't call it a finisher because I don't think it's actually ever finished anybody. And the match continues.
It's just you got to do it video game style. It's one of his special moves, right? You've got the signatures, you've got the finishers. Well, here we go. We've got the ankle lock. And,
we've got a tandem ankle lock, lion tamer.
Yeah. Whoa, that was weird. Looked like we were going to commercial, but
man, that was a quick one.
We changed our mind.
Just real quick from Wednesday too. I watched SmackDown tonight. There's a lot to be excited about, and I just wanted to compare it because I know this is like AEW's first time at Asher, and they made the New York show a big deal with a mega card on it. But that crowd was rabid, like just frenzied, like piranhas with fresh blood in the water. Just on top of every match, super vocal, super active, super loud.
You mean the SmackDown crowd with like Carmella and Liv?
Well, I mean,
I'm kidding.
I mean, it's like the Ryder Cup time, and it kind of felt like there were golf claps at SmackDown, and then kind of some overproduced, like crowd reactions when they were flashing the card for Extreme Rules, and I don't know, it's just this is AEW. I don't know if they've peaked, but this is a peak right now because this is just must-watch television. For your eyes, for your ears, the whole experience. I can't wait to go be like part of this show live. I mean,
well, we gotta give a shout out to Jacoby, who threw out there. And Jacoby, I'm glad you're here because we chat with you all the time on the Facebook group, and then I'm glad to have you on the podcast here. But they did switch to the second hour, which is probably why it took that little dip on TV for a second, which is hilarious. That is exactly why that happened.
They had to put in the second VHS tape.
They're only 60 minutes long.
Oh, you got to flip over the DVD and pop it out. And okay.
It's like a heist movie. Every time they break the hour, they've got two guys with keys. They've got two guys with VHS tapes.
Wouldn't it be funny if they played the Rampage like theme again, like when you're binge watching on Netflix and do you want to skip intro, boop, and go right back into the cliffhanger from the last hour?
Well, I did want to ask because I didn't check the spoilers for this, so clearly we could have lined up this whole show and just known who was winning each one of these. This is Hagar and Jericho's first loss. As a tag team. I really thought I was looking at this and I was like, all right, they might walk out of this and be 6-0. Like they were getting into how we do the power rankings for AEW. They were getting into that conversation that they were going to be at the tops of that division. I mean, you go undefeated for the whole year. Eventually you got to get that shot, but now I mean it's pretty much just gone now, right? I mean,
oh god. Jericho eating some UFC punches there. This is pretty cool.
Yeah, I think this is maybe Jericho's exit that I thought was going to happen with the MJF feud, but yeah, Jericho's just getting his ass kicked right now.
Can I say you brought up like what's going on with potentially adding more members to the Click and Friends? What happened to the Inner Circle? Aren't there like 4 members who could come running out right now to throw some? Where's Santana Ortiz? Where's the Spanish God?
Remember the factions I mentioned that could possibly break up? I guess it just happened quietly.
Yeah, I guess they've quietly disbanded. I don't know.
I see it, Jacoby. Thanks, man. He tries to catch when he can. I appreciate it, man. Thank you. I do have. I apologize. I cannot read your name, but throws out there. See him. I'm guessing Punk is the king of botches and bigger botch star than Goldberg. Now, here's the thing.
Wow,
there's a lot of
throwing
fire
some
in
shade tonight. Woo!
Yeah, I can't disagree with that more. I don't think anybody's. I mean, Goldberg made a career out of being botch star, if we're gonna say that, because the infamous go watch William Regal. There's probably a documentary style YouTube video you can watch.
I mean,
of William
Goldberg
Regal versus Goldberg.
He broke Bret Hart.
Yeah.
Which I guess he kind of did a public service, so we didn't have to listen to Bret talk about how great Bret is. But yeah, that Hurricane Rana in the corner was a little rough. And then I wasn't sure what happened. Like after the match, Hobbs kind of covered his face and was talking to Aubrey. So I hope that Hobbs is okay. But yeah, it's just funny. A guy who hasn't wrestled in 7 years might need to get some practice.
Yeah, I can't.
Real quick,
yeah,
Santana and Ortiz coming out with the Warriors entrance. I don't know if you saw this. They're coming out to the Baseball Furies. This is pretty cool.
Oh, and they also have the bottles. But I can't recall anybody's name from the Warriors right now. There's just that Weasley guy who's in the other. I almost said faction. The other gang.
Oh, we got Swan. We got Cleo. We got Rembrandt.
No,
what are you talking about?
The bad guy at the end, because he's got the bottles. Warriors come out to play. Warriors.
Yeah, all I know is the guy. It wasn't us, Cyrus. It was the Warriors. Well, he's not Cyrus though. I can't think of his name.
Oh, okay, yeah.
We need it in the
just
comments.
know all of his lines.
Yeah.
All right. I know we're watching Rampage right now. But honestly, if you're a pro wrestling fan and you haven't watched the Warriors yet,
man, are you in for a treat? Man. It's like a wrestling movie.
Yes, it's about fake gangs of New York who dress like pro wrestlers and just walk the streets and beat the hell out of each other. And it's not just that. There's a story. There's the actual gang, the Warriors, is trying to get from Coney Island, right? They live in Coney Island, but they were at the pier.
They were at a massive call to arms, for every gang.
That's where they were.
To unite.
Right. Yeah, not they. Yeah. I said Coney Island and the pier. Those are one and the same. They're trying to get there. Yeah, I mean they were at some park in New York.
Can I say that Santana and Ortiz teaming up with the Lucha Bros? It's like bottomless mimosas on a Sunday morning. Like, whoa! All right, I'll have one. All right, give me two. All right, let's have four. And it's like four of these guys just coming at you, flying over the top ropes. This is pretty entertaining.
Yeah, and Jacoby, Lucha Bros, one of the best, if not the best, tag teams in the world right now. I got to tell you, I got in some Twitter fights because I thought the way that their story was told with AEW to give them the titles when they did, I felt like it meant more. But I got into the fights because everybody was telling me, no, they should have had tag champions the whole time. And that's to Jacoby's point, that they are just that damn good and they should have just been holding on to the titles the whole time. I think it has been a little bit of a disservice to them that there could have been a more compelling story told for one of the best, pure pro wrestling tag teams. Like their moves can only be compared to like the best of synchronized swimming teams, like Olympic synchronized swimming teams, or watch like Dancing with the Stars. Like nobody's synchronized like these two, and nobody gets tag team pro wrestling like these two. We gushed about the end of their championship winning match when they were holding down Matt or Nick Jackson at the end to get the win. And just those little details like that are what makes them, to me, like a step above the rest. Because you see a ton of guys that can do, the flips, but it's in the details. It's the timing of it. It's telling the story with, when you're going to do a major move like that, and they get it. That's where it comes in with my opinion that I think there's an opportunity to tell an even deeper story with them. And I don't know if we've gotten that yet. I think they just rely on the Lucha Brothers being so fucking good, and they kind of left them on the back burner. The most intriguing thing they've done was the work with Eddie Kingston. And even that ended just kind of abruptly. It was just like, well, you'll fit better if you're doing this feud or you're fighting with this guy. And they just need something, I think, I don't know. They need to take some time in the writer's room and go, hey, we have like two of the best fucking wrestlers on the planet right now. They team together. They're flawless in the ring together. Let's tell a flawless story.
With the Lucha Bros, it's what if Kenny Omega and Bryan Danielson, they were a tag team kind of. Not that they wrestle the same, but I just mean like apologies to MJF and Sean Spears and the boys, but what if like the pinnacle of what tag team wrestling looks like that, the chemistry, the fluidity, it's like a monster truck Cirque du Soleil, because there's still violence, but there's such a like physical poetry to it. It's beautiful to watch, and I feel like a treat. This is like 1997, 1998 Rey Mysterio, but there's two of them, and they like just finish each other's thoughts, and it's a real treat. So I don't necessarily need them to be like the christening of AEW tag team champs and then all the way through today, because there is a lot of talent on this roster. I love Butcher and the Blade, and I don't think they're going to be tag champs while I'm alive. Probably not going to happen. But I could see a world where they are. Like, they're that good. They're a good little guy, big guy team. But it's a nice problem for AEW to have, because there's a lot of teams where you're like, man, these guys should have a run. Man, these guys should have a run. I just, it's so hard to like quibble, because we're in such a peak right now.
Yeah, and I guess we're on the commercial break, so we can get deeper into this. Jacoby's, he's with us. He thinks they did play it right. So, boom, there you go. We got 3 against anybody else who wants to comment. And then
step up.
It'll be 3-1. No, but you actually make a great point, and if I had to pick the best tag division in North American pro wrestling, it's easily AEW. But at the same time, their best stories are revolved around tournaments and one-offs in a pay-per-view. And we haven't really gotten anything that lasted too long. And I guess outside of the tag titles, I should say, because we did get some great faction battles. Certainly, anything the Inner Circle was involved in, whoever they were feuding with at the time, faction-wise, would last a little bit. But it didn't always have the straps associated with it, and it wasn't necessarily tag team, wrestling. It was like we just talked about with the Warriors. It was two gangs feuding. So yeah, I wonder, am I the only one who's noticed that so far? That maybe it's me noticing that and learning that you don't need that to have a great division, which could certainly be the case. But there'd be two schools of thought, right? Like they could either change.
I like you going Dwight Schrute on this, by the way.
Was that?
I like you going Dwight Schrute on this, by the way. It's basically two schools of thought. Yeah.
I realized I say that all the time, especially when I record by myself for the Red Wings podcast. It's because I always want to make it look like I know the other person's argument in case they're gonna put the comment on YouTube. But now I forgot what the two schools
Bears beats Powerhouse Hobbs. What do you got, man?
I really forgot what those two schools.
You were rolling. Yeah,
I know. Why did you do that? It was going to be a great point. All right. So you either make the change, because there's one guy on YouTube right now going, those storylines for just straight up tag team wrestling haven't been great. They don't, there haven't been any long-standing storylines, and they just keep kind of rehashing like feuds that happened outside of AEW, but nothing too dramatic, and it's really focused on pro wrestling. So the one school of thought would be, again, changing that and getting more story-oriented feuds in your tag team wrestling, or where you just keep doing what you're doing, because this is the best tag division in North American pro wrestling.
Yeah, I'm watching my boy the Butcher go against Penta, and it's god damn, are they good? I'm just gonna give this a second because I just want to see. Oh my god, Phoenix, what are you doing? That's that spot where he catches himself in the ropes and does that spinning heel kick is just incredible.
Yeah, he whips himself. Like this I'm not bringing this up to like put down Rey Mysterio, but it's the level of he's in his prime right now too, but where Penta's at and how hard he whips himself through those ropes. And when I talk about the details that the Lucha Bros do that makes them the best tag team right now to watch, that's another detail. You could go through those ropes and be real careful.
Listen,
but he whips himself through those things, man. Like a
can I say it's like Rey Mysterio is Eddie Van Halen. And then watching Ray Phoenix, it's the guitarist for Dragon Force, where the first time you hear Eruption, you're like, wow, that's one man on a guitar. And then you hear Through the Fire and Flames, you're like, what the fuck is happening?
Just yelling into your AirPods.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's kind of where we're at, right? Like, that is
like
that
you don't have Dragon Force without Eddie, but it's just like, damn, like he just cranked it up even more difficult. And even faster.
Oh, there's the win. So Lucha Bros, Santana and Ortiz. I mean, that was a fun finish.
That's a good one because the Baseball Furies did not have a good career in the Warrior movie. So glad they're getting that padding that win-loss column a little bit with a victory. Good for them.
Can I just say too? We talk about the storylines. Santana and Ortiz came in with a huge. They already had a huge following, and they still don't do this. They don't do enough of this of telling some origins, some background stories. I think in all of pro wrestling, so it's no fault to AEW. It's just nobody really does it. You're introduced to John Cena, and either it's the first day you've seen him and he punches Kurt Angle, and there's this legacy, or you have success at another brand and you come to this one, or you've had success in the indies and you come to that one, and you just kind of hope that momentum carries you through your career. So there's Mike, there's two schools of thought on pro wrestlers. No, but I just this is something for me that steps outside the ring. This is the light side of the ring, Mike. I know now that we could sit down with Santana and Ortiz and watch a movie together. We'd know which movie we'd put into the old DVD player. Yeah, the Warriors. I just mean on a personal level. Now I've found a connection with them. And the point I was coming to is, you don't always get the origin story for a pro wrestler. I mean, somebody coming in to AEW, a kid, how hard is it going to be for them to find a connection with Matt Hardy? He's changing his goddamn character every fucking month, whatever he's doing. And you had no idea who he was before you started watching him on AEW. Like, if that was the case, how confused are you right now with what you're supposed to think with Matt Hardy? But we know, so it's easy for us to move forward with him. So again,
I can't help but think of you saying that you and Santana Ortiz would get along. I can't not think of the scene in Borat where he opens that magazine with Pamela Anderson. I'd like alone time on the beach. Oh, me too. that's you kind of opening up the magazine. I know where you're coming from, but I had to rip you on that one.
Jacoby coming in too. I got to throw this out there. And again, we were talking about Lucha Bros in their prime. Jacoby's thrown out there. If Ray was in his prime, he'd be right there with those boys.
Yeah, for sure. I just really think he is the Eddie Van Halen. Ray Phoenix just does stuff I couldn't even imagine. Like when you're like, man, what if you were a pro wrestler? I'm like, I don't know how that guy just creatively just comes up with any of that stuff. If he's just he's back to back watching old Rey Mysterio matches, and then that Daredevil Madman Man on Wire, like the way that guy treats the ropes, just this balancing act. I thought it was beyond human capability, and Ray Phoenix continues.
I think with Ray and Mysterio and Phoenix and comparing the two, it's the difference of what would Eddie Van Halen be if he came after Dragon Force. Did he think he reached his limitations? Because I think absolutely the speed of pro wrestling has picked up from where it was. And I know when we're talking about like the cruiserweight division was where I would say Ray was at his prime, was in WCW. The speed was there. It was a lot faster than where he's at now. But I think the speed of pro wrestling is probably a few clicks above where it was back then. And that's just, I think that's probably attention spans. That's just what, that's what works. And that's how Lucha Bros get famous elsewhere outside of AEW. And then they become AEW stars because they had so much success, because we've seen Rey Mysterio and we need somebody to take it to the next level. And I absolutely think if Rey Mysterio was in his prime and he comes after the Lucha Bros, he'd be outdoing them. But I think that's just how the world works. I think we do something that's crazy. Eddie Van Halen did something that nobody was able to do before, and maybe we just assume that was the limit. Like that's the limit you can reach is Eddie Van Halen, and then somebody beat that, and now somebody's gonna have to beat that. They'll figure out a way.
Yeah, I would like to think that in my when the video game comes out and we make a Rey Mysterio create a wrestler, that he could join Death Triangle, turn into Death Quadrilateral. I'd be all over that. I don't know. Do you want to get into Extreme Rules here while we wait for the next match to get kicking?
Yeah, we can do that. Do you want to run through it real quick, and then
let's do we'll do the card, and then the one you're most excited about. That's what I like to do.
Right.
So yeah, we got Extreme Rules, and we just say that because it's very confusing, the placement of the W in the logo for Extreme Rules. Matt, we got Liv Morgan versus Carmella, real blood feud there. We got the Street Profs going up against the Bloodline Bitches, the Usos.
Bloodline Bitches.
We got a triple threat for that U.S. title. Matt, they cranked up the sound for that crowd reaction for this one. Because not only are you going to see Jeff Hardy and Sheamus, you're going to see the champ himself, Damian Priest. And that's when they really cranked it up to 11 in that production studio. Matt, Bianca Belair versus Becky Lynch. I really loved Becky's Spice Girls look on Instagram the other day. We're also going to get a Raw Women's Championship match. And even on this, where their production studio is cranking up the sound effects to try and get the desired reaction, even this one was a little tepid. Because I don't know how people are feeling about Charlotte defending against Alexa Bliss. And Matt, in our main event, Roman Reigns, the leader of the Bloodline Bitches, is going to defend his belt against not just Finn Balor, but Finn Balor in face paint.
The Demon.
Yeah, it makes me just a little uncomfortable because there's a lot of black on his face. So I cringe just a little bit every time, but it also looks like carnage on his chest. So I'm going to let it go.
Mike, before we jump into which match we're most excited about, I got a hot take.
I hope it's Miro related, but go ahead.
It is Andrade related. And the point being, Andrade lost his last name. Mike, is Andrade's fiance about to lose her last name?
Oh. Yeah, I don't know how that works when you marry a man with no last name. Is that what you were getting at? When she marries Andrade,
no, I'm talking about Rick.
She'll drop the Flair and just be Charlotte?
Ric Flair being just shunned from pro wrestling at this point. Do we want to... Are we really forgetting Rick? Do we just make her Charlotte at this point?
That's a really good hot tag, Matt.
Thank you.
Jacoby, if you're still there, you should weigh in because this is a pretty fascinating point. I don't know if they're going to further disassociate from Rick.
Can I just say, I do love that you thought I was making this association with Andrade. And...
Oh no, I was ribbing you on that one.
Oh, okay.
I know you were going for. Wow. I mean, if anybody on that women's division for WWE has the star power to just kind of coast on the first name, I think Charlotte definitely works. I think she would have to make some sort of, because the way that WWE handled it in the past, your name just kind of unceremoniously drops. I think Charlotte, I think she would have to make some like vocal declaration that she's going to start going on her own and, saying goodbye to the name. But that's tough because as soon as you acknowledge it, that means you're going to have people, oh, wait, why was that? And then, oh, yeah, because, her dad did some things that Tommy Dreamer thought were hysterical. So,
fucking Tommy
man,
Dreamer.
that's a good question.
Because if you go back to any promo with like Becky Lynch speaking to Charlotte, I mean they go back and forth, and it's always just Charlotte, and it's never like Becky doesn't go out of her way to say Flair. So they've set it up. They're ready to go. There's probably a conversation to be had of does the song and robe change? Like, do they need to go that far? Is pretty much the conversation.
I think I wish we could be a fly in the room, right? Because I would try to distance myself from Rick, but the reason I want to be the fly on the wall is I would love to hear Charlotte's thoughts on this, to see if she kind of wants to distance herself. I mean, it would be a radical reboot, right?
Yeah, we've been asking for that since the show started. Since we started doing the Brothers of Discussion, we've been asking her to disassociate from her father. And I always thought it was a little embarrassing when he would come out and smack girls' butts, and people were still like, oh, that Ric Flair, look at that dirty dog. And now we can finally go, see, that's why we didn't want him out there with Charlotte. He's a joke. We didn't need to have them associate. Now, Jacoby's out there. I don't want to put words in Jacoby's mouth. We're not saying that he agrees with everything I just said, but he does think that Charlotte is the way to go. I think they will drift away from the name completely. Here's
is weird.
Fun little ditty to remind everybody. Her name is Ashley Flair. When she gets married, I think she will drop her dad's last name. So, does anybody know Andrade's real name? Should we look that up while we're playing?
I think it's Idolo.
That's El Idolo.
El is his middle name.
Here, oh my God. Manuel Alfonso Andrade Oropesa.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hell of a name.
Can I get some? All right. Well, let's. It would have to be
Oropesa.
I'm sorry.
Oropesa.
Oropesa. All
Yeah.
right. Man, I can't believe that I'm older than Andrade. Jesus Christ, I'm so fucking old. So do we go Ashley or Charlotte Oropesa? I'm just kidding. We'll have to go Charlotte. We got to stick with the brand. The brand is Charlotte. All right. No, I didn't. Jacoby, man, you're the man with this shit. I'm fucking.
Yeah, the Flair's kind of funny because it's like a homonym and it's spelled like FL. It's like EIR, something like that, or I think there's an H in there, so it's like Flair, like Fleur.
Oh,
Flair.
It'd be easier for Becky to say.
Yeah.
Fleur.
Charlotte Fleur. Yeah.
All right. So match I'm most excited for. I guess this is a cop out, right? But it's gotta be Finn versus Roman, right? I mean, Roman's been killing it, and we know that the Demon has already had a great match with Brock Lesnar. Or you know what? No, that was Finn versus Brock. So we had that excuse, right? I think there's still a chance that we're looking at a triple threat and Roman drops the title for a little bit and they actually are going to respect the Demon Bálor. I'm going to go into Extreme Rules and I'm going to be thinking Finn. I'm going to think that there's a chance. And then when they get me to that point where he's doing the coup de grace for the third straight time, and I'm on the edge of my seat, grabbing my chair, and I'm ready to jump out, and then they take that away from me, and I'm going to be angry. but I'm going to say they will get me to that point. I will willingly step to the edge along with the WWE and all of the Finn Balor faithful, and I will be ready to leap off. Maybe too morbid there, but yeah, that's I know what number 2 is for me, but I don't want to take anything away from you. I don't want to steal your thunder if you're going to pick what I'm thinking for number 2. But yeah, the Roman and Finn, number 1 most exciting match.
They brought it up. They bring it up in the commentary all the time. How long Roman's reign has been, and now it's at like 388 days.
Yeah, he just beat Punk, didn't he?
Yeah. So
mission accomplished.
Yeah, we did it. In your face, Punk. As far as like entities that are super protected in WWE, Roman Reigns, it's number 1, but arguably number 1A would be Demon Finn Balor. Almost said Fiend Balor. Demon Finn Balor. He's the entity has never lost. It's undefeated, and now we've got a cop out for Roman to lose because this is an Extreme Rules match. So in some capacity, Brock can come flying out and beat up Roman for Finn. So I don't know if this is how we all booked it, the end of Roman Reigns' run, but we're going to see Finn Balor running the show on Friday nights. And Roman.
Oh, man. Jacoby just booked it.
Oh, no.
You ready for this one?
Hit me.
Brock's going to come out, destroy both of them, and the show's going to end with Brock standing over both of them. Now, if this isn't the most goddamn WWE thing I've ever read,
Jacoby is on the WWE payroll. Yeah.
Like,
we want, you know what? I want to see your W-2s, sir, because I have a feeling there's a WWE in Stamford, Connecticut in the top left corner.
Yeah, like to have an Extreme Rules match and have it end with just like a DQ, like a double DQ.
That is the most WWE shit you could possibly book.
Like those are the reasons I'm getting further away from it, and this is a good time for me to bring up the quote I saw, which is genius quote. It was Piper Niven threw it in there of.
I only know her as Dewdrop.
Oh right, I'm sorry, Dewdrop. She had the one line and said, you know, this isn't verbatim, but it was like, "Hey assholes, this show isn't just for teenage boys and, you know, men who can't grow up." Alluding to the fact that this.
Wait, we're both of those.
Yeah, no, I know.
Oh,
so basically. There are moments, like we really love the bloodline and the Roman Reigns stuff, but there are certainly moments in the show that are not for us. And it's because they are trying to hit so many different audiences to try and build out, you know, whoever's watching. I just think they fail because they're not playing the AEW game, which is also the same game like that Wendy's fast food restaurant plays, where Wendy's said, "Fuck it. We're going to put cheddar cheese and mushrooms and bacon on fucking everything," because that's the people who want to eat that are the people who eat at fast food restaurants. I don't think that they're going to find another audience that's going to fall in love with some of the other segments that Piper's referring to. I think there'll be people who love the Dewdrop stuff and come to the show to watch it, but there aren't enough to make a difference in whatever kind of change they're looking for. Certainly when it comes to advertisers and sponsors, they're not going to be able to make that difference. So I think she's right. The show is not made for just you and I as a couple of children who refuse to grow up. But that's probably the failing. I mean, think about the time, the show goes till 11 o'clock at night on Mondays, 10 o'clock at night on Fridays. Is that really what we're doing here? We're playing to...
Yeah, you get 2 hours of Raw's War, and then you get the War Zone from 10 to 11, man. You know how it goes.
I mean, that was us, though, right? At that point, I think we were teenage boys still loving pro wrestling when that was going on. So,
yeah. we were part of the Headbangers Power Hour. That was our thing.
Oh, yeah. God. Love the Headbangers.
Underrated tag team. Right up there with the Butcher and the Blade. I don't know.
We're certainly going way far off from watching AEW Rampage right now. But now, I'm trying to figure out what I want to talk about next. And watch Orange Cassidy come out to the ring with Chris Statlander, who is still like, that's why I think I'm in awe, because she's still my favorite in the women's division.
Yeah, my next shirt is definitely going to be Thunder Rosa, but the one after that, probably going to be Statlander. Man, or if Johnny Hungy gets his own shirt, I'm going to be all over that. Jacoby, can you share your thoughts on Johnny Hungy? Because I'm a big mark for that guy.
Oh no, we have a request for a Bray Wyatt conversation.
Well, I mean, the Dark Order's out there, Jacoby. So I think they're just kind of letting us cool down a little bit on CM Punk and Adam Cole and Ruby Soho and Bryan Danielson. And then I'm pretty sure that Wyndham Rotunda, in the ultimate ode to his fallen brother, Brody Lee, I think he's going to come in and rescue the Dark Order and stop them from disbanding.
That's pretty good. I was about to ask you too if some of this stuff just felt like they were treading water until it felt right to bring him in, because it's certainly getting the TV time. It's a storyline, as I was complaining about earlier with some tag teams, but yeah, that would be a great way to go. But it did kind of, until you mentioned that. I guess that still fits the treading water storyline. Mike, I'm interested, if we both love Wyndham. Yeah. Would you? A lot of people have said that the rumors are that he's also, or he could be heading to Impact. Is that enough to get you to watch Impact on a regular basis? Because Jacoby, you seem like the cat who watches Impact on a regular basis. Because you're all over the Ashley Flair stuff. I watch when I know there's something huge happening, but I cannot. Yeah, I can't commit to a weekly viewing of it. Is that enough for you, Mike? Or would that be?
It's enough to get me to tune in for his debut. But I can't keep making time for even more wrestling. And AEW is doing such a good job of catering exactly to what I like in a wrestling show. This is going to be priority one. So I hope. I know AEW is getting more and more crowded, especially here as we're seeing Suzuki and the Murder Hog cutting promos against Eddie, who is going Bruce Banner and ripping his shirt off, and Moxley, who's, I don't know if he's doing a Randy Orton impression, because it looks like there's voices in his head. It's becoming a crowded program, so it always feels fresh every week, but. Is Wyndham going to be able to get that TV time on AEW? Is that maybe why he's going to Impact, to be the huge fish in this kind of small pond?
Let me, because I think this is where we're going to go. Jacoby's asking, when do you guys think they will bring him in? And if they do bring him in, and what do you guys think about Braun and where he is going?
I have like 99% certainty that Braun is not going to be signed to AEW, because I think if they did, it would be tough, because he is easily 3.5 feet taller than everybody on the roster. And even their monsters like Luchasaurus and Murder Hawk are going to look like, Angus Young jumping around out there. So I don't see that happening anytime soon. But Wyndham...
I think there's a lot of guys on the AEW roster that were not fans of some of the comments that Braun's made in the past. And it really feels like they would have to think that this sends them over the edge in regards to getting more viewers. But I don't think Braun does that for the casual pro wrestling fan. I think Braun is more of a hardcore WWE fan.
He's the perfect like WWE like superstar, right? It's a homegrown guy that they created, in their minor leagues, and then they called him up and let him just be a big beefy guy. They attached a choo-choo sound when he runs. He's got his catchphrase. He's not like a third generation guy like Wyndham or Orton. That's a guy that they created. So, and I think he said that he would only wrestle in WWE.
Yeah, and he's also showed on like Instagram too that it looks like he's getting all juiced up for something else. I just, for me, the Braun stuff, I know it's not going to get me to tune in anywhere. We've already made mention, like we had our list of guys that we would, we divorce ourselves from WWE, and a couple of them made their way over, which would be Adam Cole and Bryan Danielson. So Braun did not make that list for me, but certainly, I know somewhere he makes a difference. I just don't think AEW, like, they'd have to really be killing or be struggling to like fill out a match card for them to bring in Braun, I feel like. And I feel like they have enough names right now of guys. They could probably do, we have our YouTube shows, we have AEW Dark, we've got programming Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. They could probably do a Thursday and have a bunch of guys that didn't wrestle Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Friday and wrestle on Thursday, and they'd be fine. It'd be another hour-long show, and we'd get to know some new guys, and they'd do fine. And that would be without Braun. And right now, I agree with Mike with the size comparison, but yeah, that's where I don't know if they need a Braun Strowman, where I would think like the likes of huge names to come over. Kevin Owens would have to be the next big name that fits AEW. The Sami Zayns of the world are more of AEW speed and are going to get people out of their seats. I wouldn't be shocked if the rumors of Nakamura coming over would start, because if they do start, because that would be something to the same effect of like how we think Adam Cole would have been failed on the main roster. I think we saw that. We see that now with Nakamura in the WWE. He's Intercontinental Champion, but we know he just oozes charisma. I think he's one of the best guys I've ever seen in the ring. That would be a guy that I think would just blow the roof off if he made his debut, and he'd have to have a sweet ass song just like he does now in WWE. Maybe bring Boogs with him.
Woo, man. Come on.
If he brings Boogs.
Yeah. Slow down there.
Jacoby
I mean, Wyndham is either Wyndham, I would say, at Full Gear, or we're just going to have to wait probably till next year. Because, I mean, we already have a guy who turns the lights out, right? And Malakai Black. And we want to build him up a little bit. And I think Wyndham is definitely a guy who's, kind of cognizant of stuff like that. So I think he kind of sees, if he is going to ever show up at AEW, I think he's going to wait a little bit. And I think it would be a smart move.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Like waiting a little bit too is certainly on Tony Khan's mind, or it should be, because he did mention he's got one last ace up his sleeve. And I think a lot of it too might have to be storyline, but I think it might have to be personal. I think Bray or Wyndham stepped away for a lot of personal reasons, and maybe he's just not ready yet either. So we might have to wait until he's ready to come back, which could be a while. But I think if he's going to land somewhere that's not WWE in returning, it's going to be AEW. Kind of put the cherry.
I would be stunned if he didn't follow in Brody's footsteps. I would be stunned.
I did want to throw out there, Jacoby said he does think Braun's going to end up in the WWE in some way. I do think that might actually be the best route for Braun, is to just, don't sign a long-term contract anywhere. Maybe bounce around a little bit on the indies if you really want to prove yourself.
I don't know why he doesn't do maybe the Brock tour and just like go wreak havoc in Japan for a little while.
If they wanted him, that's probably a good step. But I think that ultimately, he wants to set up some flexibility for himself, right? He just wants to hang out and wait till WWE has space for him again, because that's where he's going to thrive, like you mentioned before, Mike. So I absolutely love that point, Jacoby, and that goes right along the lines of Mike, what you're thinking, and size wise, and finding guys that'll be a reasonable, will make sense from a feud standpoint, from a fight standpoint. Man, Here's the bummer, right? Of doing a watch along. I have this on mute right now because I would just have it blaring in my headphones, but I gotta do Wild Thing. Moxley's heading to the ring with Eddie right now. I think, Mike, this is and Suzuki just ruined it as I unmute it. I think Wild Thing is the best entrance music for like getting that crowd riled up right now. I think you get the excitement of Daniel Bryan and CM Punk kind of sell their songs. But Wild Thing, I mean, it's an easy song to sing along with. And it's such a party song. So I think it's perfect for pro wrestling. I don't know. Moxley is a huge talent, but that song sells itself. And I think something like Danielson's music, Punk's music right now, they're the ones that sell that music. Clearly for Danielson. And I know Adam Cole's is actually pretty hot too, but I mean, Wild Thing has been a music hit for decades. So I think it's a little different comparing Adam Cole's song that did pretty well on the charts these past couple of weeks.
Real quick, Suzuki took out Moxley, and Kingston did again one of my favorite things where Kingston jumped in because he saw Moxley go down, so he came in to rescue his friend again in another recreation of the sparkler moment at the exploding death match. What was it? I don't know. It was. Hopefully, we just forget the title because of the goofy ending. But I just love Moxley being so protective of his best friend in the whole world.
Did a great job selling those sparklers too.
Yeah, as far as the rest of the Extreme card, Matt,
right.
Let me ask you another hot take. Outside of the Roman Reigns,
I got it lined up.
Yeah, Matt, I got a tough one for you. Outside of the Reigns versus Bálor match, which of those matches on a pay-per-view is going to be able to live up to the free programming we got from AEW this week?
The Usos and the Street Profits was going to be my number 2. I think that match is going to be amazing. That the Usos, like, the one thing we keep forgetting is, you know, I remember when we used to have that long-standing feud of the New Day and the Usos.
Yeah.
But before that, it was always just the Usos and anybody. And I think the New Day are amazing, but tag team wrestling is in the WWE. I think if we're going to look back at the last decade, number 1 is the Usos, even though probably the tag team championship reigns. I think the New Day gets the nod. I think tag team wrestling has been carried by the Usos. And that's not putting the New Day down in any way. I think I'm just trying to elevate the Usos that much more. And the Street Profits are right there. Like, they do such a fantastic job in the ring. And I think that match would fit in on an AEW show, no problem. No story, just throw those 4 guys in the ring, and it would be a banger, and we'd all love it, and we'd be going nuts. There's my pick. Do you have a pick for that? Here, Jacoby's got one. He's going the Becky Lynch match, which I think also.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go on.
I'm gonna ride the coattails with Jacoby. I'm excited for Bianca to actually have a wrestling match and not a weird Dwayne Rock Johnson beating up Eric Rowan at WrestleMania match. I'm excited for her to show why we actually got behind her for like 9 months before Becky just came in and snuffed her out. And I think that one might actually have some crowd behind it too. I think the crowd's going to be a little warm milk on the Charlotte Alexa match. I think they're going to be a little less than enthused for the Liv Morgan Carmella. I just, there's not a lot behind it. I'm sorry. And I want Damian Priest to do well, but god damn. I'm glad he's past Morrison and Miz, but we just keep staying on this treadmill now with Sheamus, Hardy, Priest, Sheamus, Priest, Hardy, Priest, Hardy, Sheamus, Priest. It's like, Jesus Christ, why do we got to fight the same effing guys all the time?
Released everybody.
Matt, hot take question.
Shit.
Matt, you're a father of two. You have Dr. Wife. But tonight, you have to get a magic haircut. It instantly happens. Do you go with the Murder Hawk or Suzuki?
Oh my god.
Keep in mind, Dr. Wife needs you to go to a special doctor's cocktail party on Thursday night. It's a work thing, and you have to go with your new haircut and surprise Dr. Wife.
I am absolutely going Murder Hawk. I think.
Woo!
Now, where my head goes is playing with Addie and Teddy, and I think they get more of a kick out of that than the Suzuki style. I guess I am picturing like the ponytail along with it and letting Teddy play with that. But yeah, that's the easy pick for me.
Yeah. I think it's the easy way to go. It's almost prehensile. That Murder Hawk. I'm somebody who, like, if I go to a hotel and there's a jacuzzi, I sit in it way too long.
Yeah.
So I think it'd be smart for me to like tie my hawk, to like a support beam in the back. So if I fall asleep again, I won't drown.
Just before we come back to watch Suzuki and Moxley just go through those stiff forearms to each other's head before we watch more of those.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put this out there. I'm intrigued by Liv Morgan versus Carmella. Only to the point that I hope that they're gonna give them time and they fit them into this card. So my thought process is you go up and down this card, everything says champion, 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 champion. Then there's this. It's the only non-title feud on the card according to WWE.com right now. Certainly something could be added that day. Something could be added that morning. My hope for this is that they're going to give them time. They're going to let both of them shine, and they've been working together for a while, and we're going to get a good match. So I'm intrigued just by the fact that this is on the card, and my hope is that with them in this position to compete with AEW, they want to go all in on one of these ladies. We're going to find out which one. I'm going to lean towards Liv Morgan, and I'm hoping that this means something to the effect that she's really been putting in. Not to say that she hasn't before, but she's really been putting in the effort, behind the scenes. And this is something where maybe she gets a push after beating Carmella. And hats off to the WWE and Extreme Rules. Not just one women's match on the card, but a non-title feud.
Yeah, and as far as like keeping in line with, you know what, guys, AEW's kicking our asses. Let's let Big E be our champ. In a line of things we could have done a couple years ago. Hey, let's try Montez in a singles push. Hey, remember Ruby Riott? Okay, we released her. Fuck. All right. We can't push her right now. But remember we did like a stop-start with Liv Morgan, and then we just like took her off TV for a while, and nobody had a reason why. Let's push her. Now that we're losing again in the ratings. So. Yeah, give me a Liv Morgan victory, Matt. This is going to be in the shades of, Big E and Montez. I'm all for it, and this crowd's going to be all for it. And this is a good time to do it. And by the way, we're watching Suzuki handcuff and choke the life out of Jon Moxley, who looks like Harry Houdini about to get killed.
And two quick Jacoby thoughts in here. He's going Suzuki style all the way. So he's showing up to that party with the I kind of like, I wanted to say cornrows, but clearly it's only Suzuki style. It's the only way you could put it. And he's also on board Liv Morgan getting the win. I think that's where all of us are sitting right now. I think she needs like a signature win, and I think Carmella is, as much as she's not my number one pick for at any time give her the title. But I think she does have that. She's got that character, I think, is well established. So at any time, she could step in, you know, heal her way to a championship victory and carry the title for a little bit. But that also means she can eat pins all day long. Liv needs the win. I think we'd actually get a pop out of the arena if Liv got the win. But yeah, oh my God, right now we're watching tied up Jon Moxley getting choked by Murder Hawk. Suzuki standing
Was
in
this
front
match,
of him.
was it produced by Eli Roth?
Yeah. Once we see just like chunks of Moxley sliding across the ring. Oh, we might get some chunks of Moxley. Can I just say, can I take this moment while we're watching Suzuki bite off Moxley's head? Camera cuts. Can we talk about that? Like, certainly WWE is known for their camera cuts. I mean, we just got a major camera cut at the punch there. I think that's just pro wrestling. Can we just accept that as?
I feel like WWE gets a little heavy on those though, because like every punch, they'll kind of switch angles for like the wind up and then the impact. Like cut. I haven't been too distracted by this one, and again, maybe this is, because you and I are on the AEW payroll, but.
That might be me just like, it doesn't distract me on WWE, and it's probably, maybe I'm just used to it, and that's the difference.
We're winding down here. We're down to the last couple minutes here before the end of the show.
He's putting in a valiant effort as he's tied up. He's just swinging his head around. I mean, it's certainly a call to Monty Python right now, where Moxley with no arms is just smashing his head against Suzuki, and now Eddie Kingston has oh my God, he just did the Three Stooges finger to the eye, Kingston to Lance Archer after his chops had no effect, which I think is a great way to sell the strength of Archer, because now that he has no vision after the Three Stooges poke to the eye, now the chops have effect, and Kingston is going nuts.
Yeah, I'm still enjoying Moxley doing his best Zach Gowen impression, except no arms instead of no legs.
Yeah, it's actually. This is pretty good from the two of them. It takes a lot of effort actually to sell this stuff when your arms are tied up, because Murder Hawk has to do all the work here. He's got to go behind the scenes and get Moxley standing again for when he's going to do these headbutts with Suzuki. And we talked earlier today about the Lucha Bros, and clearly Suzuki and Murder Hawk here don't compare to the art style that is the Lucha Bros. But that's an art on its own. Like, while we're watching this, we have to have the camera cut away. That's part of the art. And have Murder Hawk pick up Moxley, and Moxley has to do some sort of like, I'm going to shove you with my shoulder. Murder Hawk falls backwards. And then he can do his headbutt spot with Suzuki.
Oh, God.
Oh, my God.
They're going to kill Kingston here. Oh, no.
Who's coming out? It's Bray Wyatt. Oh, it's Homicide. I like how they gave it away on the entrance ramp, and that's because he's coming in from the fans.
I see people turning around.
Oh yeah, I think maybe you're a few seconds behind me now. Homicide's in the ring, helping out his boys, Moxley and certainly Eddie Kingston.
One of my favorite booking decisions is when the baby faces have the numbers advantage. Love it.
Wait, is that sarcastic or is that
sarcastic? Yeah.
Okay.
It's like those weird instances where the New Day had 3 guys and the other team only had 2, and I'm like, we don't usually have the number advantage.
Well, yeah, everything's turning around now for Moxley and Kingston.
Oh, so are we going to get a pile driver on the chair? No, we're going to get. Oh, okay.
I do want to address. Jacoby did ask about Dark Side of the Ring. We addressed it at the beginning of the show, Jacoby, and what we said was I haven't watched it yet, so we don't want to do it. I don't know. What would you say? We're not going to be able to do it justice by not watching the episode and only commenting on what everybody else has been saying on Twitter today or Reddit or what have you. So I'm just going to lay off today. We went pretty hard in the last week's episode of Dark Side of the Ring, and we wanted today's episode of Brothers of Discussion to be.
I wanted it to be a little wrestling heavy.
Yeah.
And just real quick too, we talked earlier about Lucha Bros and like, man, why do we wait so long for that push? And how many good tag teams there are. Can you imagine how excited this crowd would be if Mox and Kingston were the tag team champs? Also, Kingston beating the shit out of Murdoch with the kendo stick through the trash can.
I love that he tried to break it in half with his knee, and he's so excited he lost control of the stick and missed breaking it over his knee.
The ref had genuine fear for the crowd for shrapnel falling out of the ring.
Match is over, but Moxley and Suzuki are still going at it outside the ring.
Also, Kingston, in addition to being in this incredible tag team, I don't think anyone would complain if he suddenly became AEW champion. He's so over.
Yeah. I think he knows, like, that is a guy who knows and loves pro wrestling, you know? Like, he came in, he got his title shot. He didn't win, but is he not having the most fun of anybody on AEW week in and week out? I think he is. And I think he knows where, you know, his talents lie, and he's going to help. Like, he's going to build up this mid-card to be one of the best mid-cards I think we've ever seen in pro wrestling, because he's so strong, and he's not one of those guys that's going to make the push to, I'm not saying anybody that's ever, you know, ascended to the top of the card from the mid card destroys the business, but it's like he's happy where he's at, and I like that. And I guess we do want to wrap up the episode, so I don't want to bring up the Undertaker and the boys again, like we talked about. So
the only boys I want to talk about are Cody being Homelander.
Yeah. So quick shout out before we step away here. Return of the Jedi getting started. That would actually be a fun watch along. You want to watch Return of the Jedi, Mike?
Yeah, let's do it. No.
Luke Skywalker's return to his home planet of Tatooine in an attempt to rescue his friend Han Solo from the clutches of the vile gangster Jabba the Hutt. Mike, hot tag, is it Jabba or Jabba?
I prefer Jabba.
All right. Everybody, thanks for tuning in. Jacoby, I had an absolute blast. I hope we can line up our schedules moving forward. This was a wonderful conversation. Yeah, Mike, ready to sail off into the sunset?
Let's do it, buddy.
Let's do it. All right. Thanks for everybody. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Have a good one.